I'm Aaron Hallett, reporter for MuscleTalk.co.uk. I'm here with IFBB Pro, Neil Hill, and Nutritionist as well. How long have you been working for Zach Khan now?
This would probably be going on to not quite 12 months, I would say, basically. I started working with Zach beginning of December last year. We didn't do any workouts or put a plan together until basically I had this hernia operation, which was a couple of months later, which was early January, if I remember rightly. Yeah.
Your nickname is Yoda. How did that all come about then?
I think there's many names that people probably call me, to be honest with you, but I think that it's probably come about that, I suppose, sort of Yoda, the cartoon character, I think, to be honest, is probably a knowledgeable person. You know, he had the answers to the questions that people were looking for, so I guess really it sort of evolved around that sort of name. Well, I hope that I think so. I don't think I'm green and big ears, so yeah, kind of guy. Yeah.
You train a lot of US pros now,
yeah,
and you're getting more in your stable at the moment. Yeah. So how's it going with the US career?
Yeah, I'm enjoying the ride. You know, I mean, I'm very much a family person. I got my feet flat on the floor. I think that I'm very, very fortunate, to be honest with you, to be in a position or see the actual doors which are opening for me at the moment. I'm a very motivated, driven person. I tend to sort of keep myself to myself. Yep. You know, I've got my own personal little ambitions in life, what I'm trying to achieve in a sense. But I get just as much satisfaction and pleasure working with amateurs, whether they're low-level amateurs or top-end amateurs, or whether it's, you know, the sort of the elite pros in a sense, who are obviously going on to, you know, win major titles. I think at the end of the day, you sort of got to sort of sit back and think to yourself, well, you know, what I'm doing because I'm passionate about what I'm doing. I'm not driven by money. Yeah. Of course, you know, when I get older, I'd like to think that I'd be able to sort of sit back a little bit and enjoy my wife and my kids, and I won't have a mortgage, etc. But, you know, I treat my athletes, I would say, you know, as individuals. They're all treating completely different to one another. And what I mean by that is I devote all my time and my energy and my knowledge with every single person. I don't treat athletes different because they may potentially be a Mr. Olympia, or they may potentially be a, you know, say a UK BFF potential, say, qualifying champion. Because at the end of the day, you've got to sort of look at the fact that people are trying to achieve different goals, and whether that goal is to be an IFBB professional, win shows, or whether it's just a person who's overweight and they're just looking to sort of tone a little bit and feel better about themselves. So, you know, I spend a lot of time, you know, an awful lot of personal time with all of my clients.
With your Y3T training program, how does that differ from normal training methods?
To be honest with you, I think it goes against the grain of pretty much everything which is out there at the moment, to be honest with you. You know, it's been designed and structured. I mean, I started training when I was 19 years old, and I'm now 21, so basically I've been involved with the industry for 21 years. And basically, probably about 12 years ago, I started changing my training around a few injuries I had at the time. And what I learned, or what I spent, you know, hours and hours and hours trying different angles, not picking them up from a magazine or a video, you know, something I actually thought, you know, long and hard. I'm going to see if I can change the movement slightly and do it this way, you know, sort of change different angles. And I changed my rep range, you know, I changed the way that I alternated muscle groups, etc. And what I found is that it made a massive difference as far as my, say, recovery rate. That was the one thing. I found that my cardiovascular system had increased, which in turn allowed me to recover quicker, as long as you make sure, obviously, the right nutrients are going into the body. But it also allowed my body to take away the fact of greater injury risk, because the trouble is, if you're consistently working heavy all the time, that's only going to equate to one thing. It's going to equate to a greater risk of injury, but more importantly, it's going to put you into a point where your body gets stale, you know, and also your body ages very quickly. You know, that's the other side of the coin, you know. I mean, Dorian Yates, one of the greatest bodybuilders, Dorian Yates is probably known to be the hardest training bodybuilder of all time when he was training in the gym. But if you look at Dorian now, his body's battered, you know, it really is. Not taking away, obviously, all the success he's had in the past. But I also sort of look at long term. I always look at the big picture with my athletes, you know. I look at, say, you might be successful now, or you might want to be successful. You might be 19 years of age, you might be in your mid-20s, you might be in your mid-30s, but don't you want to be healthy and have a, you know, a quality life when you get to 60 and 65 and 70 and 75? So, you know, everything I do with my athletes has always looked at long term. They're never just short term things, because there will always be a life beyond bodybuilding.
You're always known for your great conditioning. For an athlete who's looking to compete, what would be your biggest piece of advice that you'd give to them?
I think the biggest advice I would say to people are probably a couple of things. Don't listen to too many people, because, you know, I was here yesterday, I hear so many questions, and they tell me that somebody told me to do this, and I'm thinking, you should not be doing that.
They listen to too many people.
They listen to too many people, they get confused. Or go to somebody who I wouldn't say necessarily has had to have done it, but somebody who's got a really great track record of consistently, you know, and that's the most important thing, consistently bringing people into shape. But more importantly, somebody who keeps their athletes healthy as well, because that's the other side of the coin. You know, is that there's a lot of guys getting in good condition and they're not doing it, what I say, in a healthy way. And again, you've got to look at the long-term thing. You know, you just got to look in the mirror and see what's in front of you, and ask people who can get in condition whether they're ready or not. Because for somebody who's maybe 6, 7, 8, 10, 12 pounds away from contest shape consistently year after year, that's not the person you should be asking, because he's only going to see what he sees when he looks at himself in the mirror, and not what you should look like, because he's never achieved those conditions in a sense.